Just really pleased to have, Susie, best-selling author and Emmy Award winner and, everything under the sun financial that you could think of.
Hey.
She's the gal.
Hey.
So we have a big contest coming up directly following the finale of the show where viewers can have a chance to go to Oprah.com and fill out 12 questions and a little essay and enter a chance to win $50,000.
Whoa.
And 5 viewers will have the chance to win $5,000.
I have to tell you, the best way to make money is to work for it. There will come a day when you won't be able to work for money, whether that's because of an age or illness or an accident or whatever. Maybe you'll be able to live till the day that you die working for money. But normally there does come a time where the money that you've worked for now has to support you. So you're carrying your money, eventually it's going to have to carry you. The best way to create money is to, number one, earn it. Then, next to earning it, you have to decide what are you going to do with the money that you've earned. Because many people earn money and they immediately spend the money that they've earned. And so there has to be some system where you, and this is, I say this phrase all the time, where you get as much enjoyment out of saving money as you do spending it. And you really have to understand the role that money plays not only in your life today, but in your life when you're 50, 60, 70, 80 years of age, because it will happen. And so the best way to get more money is to work for it. The best way to keep your money growing is to invest it. And the best way and thing you can do with money is simply stay out of debt, especially credit card debt. Listen, I know you're all in here to blog or write or do whatever it is that you're going to do with the information, but there isn't a person in here that money doesn't affect your life. You're probably doing these blogs so that you can make extra money. You have maybe another job so you can make money. So money is a very interesting entity, especially when it's on television. Sometimes you'll watch TV and the fact that something horrific happened to somebody, you just can't relate to it because you're not going to be caught in a cave where you have to cut your arm off. That's not going to happen to you most likely, but you watch because it's very voyeuristic. When it comes to money, every single one of you deals with money, so money doesn't have a sex, it doesn't have a religion, it doesn't have a tax bracket, it doesn't have a sexual preference. Money is a universal entity, and I lecture all over the world on money. We're leaving next week to spend 10 days in the Philippines to redo their banking systems and certain things that are there. And and I've been in China and South Africa, and we did many things we redid in South Africa over the years. So it doesn't matter if you even know the money of the country. You just have to know that people and what people do and how they evaluate money and value money. So it's interesting. Money, even as a reporter, they have an edge on it because they're working for money and they can sit there and it's like, but even the producers, good luck for me to find a really great producer, I mean this, who isn't totally nuts about money. So they don't want to deal with it. They want to do a 5-minute segment. Every time I'm on a morning talk show, if they run over, I can tell you that the very first segment they're going to cut is mine. They're going to take me down from 7 minutes to 3 minutes because they can't just deal with money. They can't deal with it, so the less they have to hear about it, the better. So the reason that money is so important is because it affects every single person that's made the show, participating in the show, watching the show, reporting on the show, rating the show. It affects them all in their own very personal way. I do get that we're in the state of California, so, with that in mind. But for years now, since 2007, I have been asking people to buy municipal bonds. I came out of the stock market in 2007, and it's documented very well on the SUZE Orman show, and started to tell all of you to buy municipal bonds. Buy, 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 buy. You could have locked in 5.5%, 6% on some municipal bonds, tax-free, which now that interest rates have gone down as much as they have and everything else has happened, they have skyrocketed in value. Skyrocketed. You can't even find the number of municipal bonds for money that's out there right now. I'm looking and I can't find what I'm looking for with money to invest. The reason that I said California, is that, as you know, this state is not in the best condition in terms of what you have going on financially, so you would probably be better to get the income tax hit on a municipal bond by buying outside the state of California and getting it federally tax-free, and who cares about paying the state income tax. Besides that, dividend-paying stocks or exchange-traded funds where you're getting 5, 6, 7, 8% interest. Master MLPs, master limited partnerships, when held correctly, fabulous. Real estate, only if you get a steal of a deal and you have working capital in terms of an investment, so you have money to back it up. I still think in many areas real estate's going to be low for a long time, so it would not be my favorite place at all to invest right now, but possibly real estate investment trusts that invest in apartment buildings would also be something that's good. But there are many, many things that you could invest in that could very easily generate you a 4, 5, 6, 7% yield without a whole lot risk today. In this economy today, and given what the computer and worldwide investing and outsourcing has done to the employment numbers in the United States of America, I think one could easily say that you would be far better off having an entrepreneurial spirit and starting your own business. You know, I was doing a thing called Be Your Own Boss, that we'll see if that comes to fruition or not, but what you need to know to be your own boss. In terms of using your own money, however, to invest in yourself to create your own entity, I would advise against that. Because if you use your own money and that failure rate is very high in businesses, then you've lost your business, you've lost your source of income, and you've also lost the money that you had that you were going to live on if this business did not succeed. So if you're going to do a business, and I've done many businesses, I very, very seldom, in fact I've only done it once now, where I've invested my own money to do something. I'd rather have 50% of something than 100% of nothing. So I always look for either partners or people who want to finance something, not venture capital, but a different type of a deal, or borrowing money if you can to start an entity, which also isn't easy right now because the banks are not lending. I still love gold. I would have gold be at least 10 to 20%, 10 to 15% of my portfolio if you had a good portfolio and more money, then up to 20% in gold. Gold, as you may see, is starting to skyrocket up. At this point, I've predicted that I think we'll see gold at 2,100 by November of this year. Who knows if that will be true or not, but I'm a believer in gold. I have a very large position in gold via ETFs myself. And, we've been buying gold. I've personally been buying gold since the hundreds, not in the thousand, but we had a pretty outright buy. And about 2 weeks ago when gold was at 1570, I don't know if any of you follow the newsletter that we gave away. Do you follow it? We had an outright buy of gold, did we not? On the absolute low of this cycle at 1570. We called it to the penny.
How do you feel about silver compared to gold?
I personally don't like silver as much. I think silver will also move, however. I like gold better because when I go to China and I go to India and I go to places throughout the United States, I never see these vaults filled with silver. In China, you literally will go into the banks and they have in their little big safety vaults a lot of money in gold. You see them bringing it in, bringing it out. Now, that's not what a safety deposit is supposed to be for, but China's another story. I have for years now been saying that the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and the middle class is disappearing. I think what's happened to the middle class in America is absolutely tragic. There is no way for America to recover until real estate recovers and until we honor the middle class. It's hard to be middle class today when you're underwater in your homes, when your portfolios have gone down in value, you're not able to get a job. If you do get a job, they've cut you back on your benefits and your income. You're now getting older and older. All your expenses are going up. Gasoline, take a look at the pump, take a look at food in your grocery stores, and take a look at your health bills and so on and so forth. So the middle class is in tremendous difficulty here in the United States of America, and the middle class is now becoming those who live in poverty, Poverty has a different face. There are 50 million people, as I sit here speaking to you, that are officially in poverty. According to the 2011 Census Bureau, there are about another 50 to 100 million that are on the verge of poverty. And as maybe you heard me say that when I was on Meet the Press with David Gregory, that there is a highway into poverty, there is not even a sidewalk out. It is tragic what has happened, and there are no solutions as we sit here. You know, 4 years ago, we had the ability to reset the mortgages and stop this entire devastation of the real estate market. We had the ability to stop it. Yeah. Now we're talking about doing that after the devastation has already happened. So the economy has gotten more difficult and almost incapable of understanding, because nobody knows where anything is when it comes to real estate and the mortgages and how you really fix it. So they're really just throwing the dice and hoping that something sticks. So the best advice that I can give you, that I've always said, and I started this campaign with the 2007 Women in Money book that I brought out, that I came up with this Save Yourself account, where somehow, and I don't know how I was able to do this, but I convinced TD Ameritrade at the time. The CEO was a man by the name of Joe Moglia. He no longer is the CEO, but not because of what I'm about to tell you. He wanted to go back and be a football coach, and he did. Love this man. But we wanted to see if we could change the savings rate in the United States of America and actually increase it when it was on a decreasing plane. So in Women in Money, my book, at the very first one, says that it went on, we took it off because we reached our quota. We had a little sticker that said, earn $100, join the Save Yourself campaign. And it was simply, if you put $50 a month, every single month, for 12 consecutive months, in the 13th month, TD Ameritrade would give you $100. So it wasn't you put $600 in at once. You had to do it every single month. You could put more than that, but not less. And TD Ameritrade projected that 10,000 people would do this, so it would cost them about $1 million. 150,000 people did it.
Wow.
And they did it successfully, and their average deposit was $150 per month.
Wow.
And after that, though, interest rates, because they were all FDIC insured accounts, and when we started, interest rates on these accounts were at 4.5%, no fees or anything. And then as time went on, interest rates went down to 0. So now I'm telling all these people, take your money out of TD Ameritrade and go and take it somewhere that's paying you a higher interest rate. They wouldn't do it. They are still sending in their $150 a month. So once you teach somebody good financial behavior and they're into it, they do not want to stop it, even though there might even be something better for them to be doing with that money. They do not care. Yeah. They have gotten into a thing, and 3 years later, they are still doing it. Middle class, well, you know, it used to be, it's hard right now. It's truthfully hard. Yeah. But middle class used to be that you owned a home, you had a retirement account, you did have to have a big home. It wasn't like that. It says, but you owned a nice sized little house for yourself, you had a car, your kids were able to be paid for to go to college, you knew you were going to be able to retire at 59 and a half or 60, maybe you would get your fifth wheel. I did the retirement planning back in 1993 for Pacific Gas and Electric in Northern California, and I had gone through 3 early retirements with them. And all the employees would come to see me so that I could plan for how they took early retirement, and they all wanted a fifth wheel. And a fifth wheel was simply they wanted to pull a trailer on their car and go see the United States of America, and they were all happy and they were all fine at $2,000 a month of their pension, and all of that has disappeared. All of that has disappeared now. The thing you have to understand, a 13-year-old today is not like a 13-year-old when I was 13 years old. A 13-year-old and a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old is already very aware of labels. They're very aware of that these things that they want to have. They're very aware that what they have defines them. And it's not like when we were younger. So I would imagine that if you had 3 kids and 2 of them were older and now one of them's younger, that she's just doing peer pressure and what all of her friends are doing as well. Especially girls, they all kind of clump together. They have these little pods. All of us women in this room, we had so many best friends, didn't we, growing up? And I'm not sure that the men in this room could say they played sports and they did things, but not the way that women bonded with one another and maybe the best friends for the rest of our lives. So little girls, when one of them is going off the deep end, the rest follow. That may be the situation happening with your daughter. But you can break that, but it takes a lot.
And it's that step system as opposed to just giving them money.
Yeah, if you give them money, they're entitled. And when they graduate college and they do all these things, they don't have a clue how to ask for a job, get a job, ask for a raise, get a raise. They don't have a clue because they just think they're entitled to it. My opinion, hopefully I'm wrong.